Right there folk, welcome back to another video beer review. Today with a beer coming out of Northern Monk, collaboration beer between themselves and Floc, and it is their Cosmic Fog. It's one of the supermarket ones. I think it's Tesco, it might be somewhere else as well. But when I got this, which was about a month and a half ago, so from the local Tesco, I was like, what the fuck is this doing in here? It's probably not going to be in here for very long. Let's pick it up. And lo and behold, it's been in there for ages now. But yeah, as I said many times before, my local Tesco is awful, and everyone says it. It's really good. It's really bad for any general shopping. I'd say it's probably the worst Tesco in the UK, because it's just a standard Tesco. There's like nothing. There's no selection. There's like you can't even get spring onions in there. It's so basic. And a large chunk of like vegetables and everything aren't there. You have to go to the big one, and the nearest big Tesco is like probably half an hour away. So as a result, in addition, the beers are pretty poor. But then the spirit selection for the size of Tesco it is, and the wine selection as well for the size of Tesco it is, both huge. And remember my colleague saying that they just go in there to buy the wine because it's good deals and that sort of thing. But for beers, it's terrible. But fortunate enough to get this. So Cosmic Fog, collab with Floc. I believe that Floc have got another can in a supermarket. I don't know whether it's Tesco or not, but kind of on the back of this one. I could be wrong, but I really enjoyed the advent calendar of Floc beers that I've had so far. I thought they've both been pretty decent, and I'll probably, in the new year, maybe not January, but maybe February or something, I might do another order from them. We'll see where we are. But yeah, Cosmic Adventure, step into the fog for a super hazy, super juicy IPA craft brewed with Northern pride and surrounded with juicy hoppy flavours, fresh from the north. They're served as cold as the north. It has been in the fridge for about a month, so it's chilled down for sure. 7% ABV, refrigerate below 5 degrees C, drink as fresh as possible. I can't really even read that. I think it's 28th of June 25, so plenty of time on it. Let's crack it open. I'm going to use the Azvex glass again. And let's see what it's like. I'm going through a bit of a funny time now, with my kind of approach towards hazies. I love them, I do enjoy them. But I remember reading like things from Gaza Prescott many years ago saying they all taste the same, and it's kind of true. They all look very much the same and have varying flavours of tropical sort of notes. So then you hunt for other things, and they're there, but not there very much. Like red IPAs. I need more red IPAs, need more Westies. Lagers have dropped off the earth as well. You see the odd one here or there. But obviously, people aren't drinking lagers quite as much in the winter. So brew bitters and brew them properly. Don't fucking avoid crystal malt or any form of dark malt. Brew proper bitters. What are these fucking pale, shitty fucking bitters that I had a rant about the other night? But yeah, anyhow, this looks alright. Single finger fluffy whitehead. I think it was like $3.50 or maybe $3.75 a can, something like that. So not too bad a price. Nose is surprisingly kind of like. Remember those ice gems? This little biscuit and then the kind of frozen gemmy sort of thing on top. There's notes of that. So I'm almost looking down the line of the being like Sabro, but I'd bank on it being some like maltodextrin. I could be absolutely talking out my ass. Yeah, water, malted barley, wheat, oats, hops. You shouldn't say maltodextrin. Then again, they don't have to write that on there, so it might well have maltodextrin in. Just to bump up that sweetness, because it does have a bit of a sweet kind of nose to it. and I've got that from maltodextrin in the past. I mean, I've brewed beers with maltodextrin in, and you get that sort of nose on them if you use maltodextrin in high quantities, which I wouldn't be surprised that they do. But yeah, we'll dive in. Cheers. Yeah, it's all right. I think I do honestly think they've used maltodextrin in this for body, bit of mouthfeel, and a bit of residual sweetness. I don't think. There's mildly hoppy notes. If I were to have a fresh can, it might be different. Because like I say, I have had this about a month and a half, but it has been sat in the fridge, and you don't know where it's been in the supermarket before that. But if I were to have a fresh can, it might be a little bit different. But it's easy drinking enough for sure. But it's just, it's really light in all the flavours. Kind of floral, bit tropical. There is a touch too much bitterness, and I wonder whether the maltodextrin's going to be has kind of been added like later on, has been added, almost post firm or something like that in a blend. Because it just seems oddly sweet. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I wouldn't rush out for it. I think there's, even on that supermarket shelf, there's stuff I'd get ahead of it. Not much, but I'd go for a Guinness or something instead. I'll probably even go bloody ciders before, because I love my Rattler. But yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I think both breweries can do better, very easily, and that's kind of what led me down the line of buying the Salt beers directly from Salt, because they're going to be doing, or I didn't know beforehand that Drip was in supermarkets, but I was really amazed by how good that tasted. I know Ben said it's in supermarkets, but I think that if you, rather than judge a brewery based on what it produces and produces for supermarkets, judge it on what it actually produces to sell aside from that. You'll get a far better idea of the sort of quality of beers they can produce, because ultimately when you're trying to sell to a supermarket, you're always kind of, not necessarily cutting corners, but trying to keep costs down. I feel that this beer, were it to be like a Northern Monk and Floc non-supermarket beer, it'd be fucking awesome. But because this is a beer that is, being brewed in really high quantities for supermarkets, you've got to keep costs down. It's going to be a little bit kind of cheaper and a bit more, without wanting to disrespect anyone, but I think it's like a bit more entry level sort of beer, or entry level kind of New England IPA sort of thing. The only time I've ever got that ice gem note before was on a Mash Gang beer, and I know full well they use a load of maltodextrin, because you have to. It's okay, not the best. See you next one. Cheers.